My sister-in-law, Carrie, asked to host her baby shower at my house. I agreed without hesitation, but things took an unexpected turn, and it all backfired. I'm a 32-year-old woman and have been married to my husband, 35M, for 3 years. We've been together for 5 years, but he's currently living away for work. We're managing a long-distance relationship, and he comes home every other weekend. We recently bought a beautiful and spacious house just before he had to leave. The house is in a great neighborhood and close to my parents, making it easy to visit them. I love living here, even alone, and when we hosted our housewarming party, the house received many compliments. Carrie, my sister-in-law, seemed especially taken with it. Carrie and I don't have a very close relationship, but we've always been on good terms. So when she asked if she could host her baby shower at my house a few weeks ago, I readily agreed. She mentioned that renting a venue would be too expensive and said my home would be perfect. Flattered by her praise, I thought, why not? Plus, I saw it as a chance to meet new people and enjoy a lively change of pace. Over the next couple of weeks, I helped Carrie plan the event. She came by often to discuss the menu, decorations, and other details. I even took a day off to ensure everything went smoothly. I was genuinely looking forward to the event, thinking it might bring us closer. On the day of the shower, I helped the decorators set up and was ready for the guests to arrive. Then, about 15 minutes before the start time, Carrie approached me with an unexpected question. Where are you planning to spend the next few hours? At first, I thought she was joking. It was my house, after all. But she wasn't. She explained, with a straight face, that I wasn't on the guest list and hadn't received an invitation. I was floored. I had assumed, naturally, that I would be included since I had been involved in every step of the planning process and was hosting the event at my home. Carrie apologized for the misunderstanding, claiming she thought I was helping her as a kind of professional courtesy, though I'm a banker, not an event planner. Her explanation made no sense, and I was hurt. I voiced my feelings, but she insisted this wasn't the time for petty bickering and emphasized that she didn't want stress because of her pregnancy. Left feeling dismissed and excluded, I didn't know how to respond. Carrie told me I had to leave because the baby shower was meant only for close family and her immediate circle of friends, a very selective group. She wanted the event to remain small and intimate, and apparently, I didn't make the cut. She insisted I leave before guests arrived to avoid a scene, which upset her. I was furious but left in a huff, heading to the backyard to call my husband and vent. Unfortunately, he was in a meeting and couldn't pick up. Frustrated and feeling slighted, I decided to call Carrie's husband, Jim, to explain the situation. Though I didn't know him well, he had always seemed reasonable. Jim listened quietly as I vented, apologized on her behalf, and reassured me that leaving my own house was unnecessary. He said he would come over to smooth things out and asked me to wait. True to his word, Jim arrived within 15 minutes, even before the first guests. When Jim confronted Carrie in the living room, he made it clear that I could stay. Despite her protests, she eventually relented, though she glared at me for the rest of the event. I decided to rise above her behavior and let the evening proceed, unwilling to let all my hard work planning the shower go to waste. Afterward, Jim apologized again, while Carrie refused to acknowledge me. Jim's kindness calmed me, but I resolved to distance myself from Carrie moving forward. Later that night, I told my husband everything. He was outraged and wanted to confront Carrie, but I asked him to hold off to avoid escalating the situation. However, the next morning, my in-laws called furious. Apparently, Carrie and Jim had fought after returning home, and Jim left, cutting off communication with both Carrie and her family. Carrie and my in-laws blamed me for the fallout, claiming that if I had just left as she asked, none of this would have happened. I found this ridiculous. Carrie had disrespected me by trying to exclude me from an event in my own home. Moreover, I had no regrets about involving Jim. He deserved to know what was happening, and his actions following the incident were his own decisions. I refused to take responsibility for the situation or attempt to reconcile things. I told my in-laws they should hold Carrie accountable for her behavior instead of shifting the blame onto me. Since then, they've been persistently calling and messaging me, but I haven't responded. I'm considering blocking them entirely because I won't allow myself to be manipulated into fixing something that wasn't my fault. I can't help but admit I don't feel guilty at all about what's happening to Carrie. Her family keeps emphasizing that my decision might mean her future child grows up without a father figure. While I think that's an exaggeration, their constant remarks make me second-guess myself. The only reason I haven't blocked them is because their words linger, even though my husband reassures me I did nothing wrong. He's planning to talk to his parents and explain that this wasn't my fault, it was Carrie's. If anything, they should be supporting her instead of blaming me. At this point, I'm not sure how to handle the situation. I don't feel sorry for Carrie, but given how her family is behaving, I doubt this issue will resolve soon. I just want it over with. I still don't even know why Carrie acted the way she did. Am I the A for involving my sister-in-law's husband in our argument and sharing how she behaved? Update 1. It's been almost a week since the baby shower. Carrie and Jim's divorce is final, and Jim announced it publicly on social media. I didn't expect it to happen so quickly, but he's already filed, and they'll start proceedings soon. Jim has moved back in with his parents. After some hesitation, I reached out to Jim. My husband encouraged it, saying someone from the family should check in, and since Jim hadn't blocked us, I decided to speak with him. I offered my sympathies, but avoided making it sound like an apology. Jim assured me I had no reason to feel guilty. He'd been on the brink for a while. After some discussion, Jim revealed everything. Carrie hadn't wanted me at the baby shower because she'd planned to impress a wealthy friend by pretending my house was hers. Since I'd refused to stay away, her plan fell apart, though it didn't matter because the friend didn't show up. Later, Jim confronted Carrie, and she admitted she only wanted me absent to keep up appearances. She didn't think her behavior was wrong and refused to apologize. Apparently, this wasn't the first time Carrie had been caught acting pretentious. Jim said their marriage had been strained for years due to her obsession with appearances. Carrie often spent money they didn't have to create a facade of wealth, even though they were financially stable, not extravagant. Jim tried to reason with her many times, but she wouldn't listen. After the baby shower debacle, he decided he'd had enough. Jim told me that even if I hadn't called, their marriage was nearing its breaking point. My husband and I both sympathize with Carrie, but agree she created this situation herself. While I hope they can work things out, I think time apart is necessary. Update 2. My husband just returned home after staying in touch with Jim, who has made it clear that he's open to reconciling if Carrie apologizes and agrees to therapy. However, Carrie is avoiding everyone, claiming she needs time to process everything. Her family is giving her space, and we're staying out of it as well. Some of you thought we should help Jim and Carrie financially. For clarity, we bought our home at a good price, and Jim and Carrie are financially stable. There's no need for us to intervene in that regard. Others criticize my hope that they reconcile, saying Jim deserves better. But ultimately, it's his decision. They have a child on the way, which makes their situation more complex. I still hope they can work through their issues. Update 3. 3 weeks later, Jim and Carrie have decided to work on their marriage. They're starting counseling and plan to live separately while co-parenting once the baby arrives. If things improve, they'll move back in together. While I'm not speaking to Carrie, I'm happy for them and hopeful for their future. I know many people wanted Jim to leave her, but this is his choice, and I respect that. For now, I'm staying out of their lives and focusing on my own.